Today in lesson 2-3, we're going to work on applying powers of 10 and writing equations. You will need your whiteboard marker, and eraser, and of course your math journal. Let's go ahead and remind ourselves of what powers of 10 look like. So if we take the number 100, we're going to write it in exponential notation. So for example, if you number 1, 2, and 3 on your whiteboard, number 1 as a power of 10 would be 10 to the second power. Now let's reverse that. Let's take 10 to the third power and write it in standard notation. 10 to the third power means 10 times 10 times 10 is what that means. Well, 10 times 10 times 10, oops, I need one more zero, sorry about that, would be 1, 2, 3 zeros, 3 zeros. And 10 itself just means 10 to the first power. So that's how you're going to do the next two sets. Go ahead and number 1, 2, and 3 on your whiteboard. If it's written in standard notation, go ahead and write it as a power of 10. If it's written as a power of 10, write it in exponential notation. Go ahead and pause the video. So number 1 would look like 10 to the 1, 2, 3, fourth power. 10 to the fourth power. Number 2 would be 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4. To the fifth power. And 10 to the seventh power would look like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then count 1, 2, 3, comma 1, 2, 3 would look like 10 million. Go ahead and erase your whiteboard, and let's try 3 more. Go ahead and pause the video once you have those written down. Number 1, 10 to the 8th power would be a 1 followed by 8 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 2 would be 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to the 9th power. And the number 1 is 10 to the 0 power. All right, why do you think problems like 5 times 40 are called extended multiplication facts? Well, let's begin by asking, what basic fact can you use to help you solve 5 times 40? Well, the basic fact would be 5 times 4, which is 20. And then how many zeros do you need to attach? Well, you just need to attach 1 to the end because it's like multiplying it by 10. We are going to use some estimating with powers of 10 and using our extended facts on journal. So get out your journal, and it is journal page 45. Journal page 45. Go ahead and find that in your math journal. It says use estimation to solve. So all we're doing is estimating. A hardware store sells ladders that extend up to 12 feet. The store's advertising says, largest inventory in the country. If you put all of our ladders end to end, you could climb to the top of the Empire State Building. Well, let's see if that claim is true. The company has, go ahead and circle 295 ladders in stock. The Empire State Building is 1,453 feet tall. Is it true that the ladders would reach to the top of the building? Well, let's go ahead and use our estimation skills. If they have 295 ladders, what number is that closest to? That would be easy to multiply as an extended fact. 300. So I would take 300 times, and then remember each ladder is 12 feet. I'm going to estimate that to be 10 because it's closer to 10 than it is 20. And let's go ahead. These are powers of 10. This would be like saying 3 times 10 to the second power, just so you know. All right, let's go ahead and multiply. 3 times 1 is 3. And how many zeros would I add to the end? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So those ladders from that store would reach approximately 3,000 feet. So is it true that the ladders would reach to the top of the building? Yes, their claims are true. Let's move to number 2. The school library received a donation of 42 boxes of books. Go ahead and circle 42. Each box contains 15 to 18 books. Circle 15 to 18. The library has 10 empty bookshelves, and each bookshelf can hold up to 60 books. Does the library have enough shelf space for all the new books? So the first thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and round. Let's start with the 42 boxes. Is 42 closer to 40 or 50? Well, it's closest to 40. And then if each box contains 15 to 18 books, well, is 15, 16, 17, 18 closer to 10 or 20? Well, it's closer to 20. So let's take those 40 boxes times approximately 20 books in each box. Here's our extended fact. 4 times 2 is 8. And how many zeros are we going to add? 2. So there's approximately 800 books. Now let's see what the library holds. So that's the first part of our problem. Our second one is that the library has 10 shelves. That's easy enough. And each one can hold 60 books. So 10 times 60 is that extended fact again. 1 times 6 is 6. Remember, you're writing this in your math journal at the same time I am. If I go too fast, go ahead and pause the video while you're writing. Add 2 zeros behind it. And so those bookshelves would hold approximately 600 books. And we have approximately 800 books. Does the library have enough shelf space for all the new books? No. They're going to have to buy some more bookshelves. Number 3. Nishant is in charge of collecting cereal box tops to trade in for technology items for his school. He keeps the box tops in 38 folders, and each folder contains 80 box tops. Well, let's see, first of all, approximately how many box tops that they are before we even begin looking at this table. So he keeps 38 folders, which is closer to what, 30 or 40? 40, and each folder contains 80 box tops. So let's use our extended facts. 4 times 8 is 32 with 1, 2 zeros behind it. So he has approximately 3,200 box tops. So let's see, does Nishant have enough box tops to trade for a printer? Here's a printer. He needs 1,500. Does he have enough? Yes, he does. He can buy a printer or trade it in for a printer. How about a digital camera? For a digital camera needs 3,500. Does he have enough? Nope, he's going to have to eat some more cereal. And if he's eating the bag cereal from Multimeal, he won't have any box tops. How about a tablet computer? He would need 5,000. So no, he does not have enough for that either. All right, let's continue with a few problems on page 46, continuing to look at writing and comparing expressions. Number 1 on page 46 says, write each statement as an expression using grouping symbols, what we would call parentheses. So make sure you have some sort of parentheses in each equation. Do not evaluate the expression, so do not solve. They just want to see, can you write that in using numerals. 1A, find the sum means to add, so if you want to put a little addition sign, of 13 and 7, then, which means you're going to do it after, subtract 5. So I know I need to use grouping symbols. So the first thing I need to do is 13 plus 7. And the way I know that is because the word's then, which means it has to come after. Then I'm going to subtract 5. 1B, multiply 3 and 4, and then divide the product. Product means to multiply, by 6. So I'm going to start by multiplying 3 times 4. Again, I'm using grouping symbols. So I'm going to take 3 times 4 and divide that product by 6. So in order to divide the product, I would have to multiply first by 6. This is the variable. This symbol means divided by as well as this symbol. 1C, add 138 and 127 and multiply the sum by 5. So I'm going to add together these two numbers. 138 plus 127, and then multiply the sum by 5. So once I found the sum, which is in parentheses, I'll multiply by 5. All right, D, divide the sum, remember sum means add, of 45 and 30. So the fact that they say and, I know I'm going to be putting parentheses around those, and then divide by 10. So let's take 45 plus 35 and divide that sum. So we have to figure out the sum before we divide by, and divide by 10. You don't have to put equals. X just stands for if we would solve it, what that would be. And lastly, add 300 to the difference. Difference means to subtract, of 926 and 452. So I have to add that once I figure out the difference. So difference has to come first. 926, the larger number is always written first or on top. 452, and then add 300. So just some more practice with writing expressions as mathematical equations.